Foods I used to think were bad, but now I eat freely. Years of diet plans led me to see food as either good or bad. But since becoming a nutritionist and using the Bible as my guide, I now see 3 of the foods that were always on the bad list completely differently now. So I want to walk through each of them, why I've changed my mind about them, and what to look for so that you can enjoy them too. Do you struggle to stay consistent with healthy eating and just want food decisions to be easy, guilt-free, and sustainable? You're in the right place. Hi, I'm Chelsea, nutritionist and fitness coach who overcame restrictive yo-yo dieting and body image insecurities using simple nutrition tools, all backed by biblical principles. And now I help women like you find that same freedom with food so you can feel confident in the look and health of your body for decades to come. I'm ready to dive in with you. So grab that cute notebook you've been hanging on to and let's go. Last year, I had a friend reach out to me and tell me that she wanted to join the Sustainable Way, my one-on-one nutrition coaching program. But she wanted to wait until after the holidays because she knew herself and she knew she could not stick to a diet plan during cookies and pie season. But here's what I told her. That is exactly why now is the perfect time to start the coaching program. Imagine walking out of holiday season not having gained weight or feeling like you need to detox and without feeling deprived of all of your favorite holiday treats and traditions. Because that's exactly what the Sustainable Way is all about. How to eat healthfully consistently, and that means when life happens. Well, she liked the idea of all of that. She joined the program and she actually lost weight during the holidays. She told me, "This was by far the most peaceful and in control I have ever felt during the holiday season. I am so grateful I joined when I did." And listen, my friend, it's not too late for you to start as well. Just head to coachrain.com/nutrition coaching to learn more, ask me questions, or jump right in. Don't wait another day to start feeling good. That's coachrain.com/nutrition coaching, and I can hardly wait to coach you through a joyful holiday season. And now, welcome to the show. Foods I used to think were bad, but now I eat freely. Years of diet plans led me to see food as either good or bad. But since becoming a nutritionist and using the Bible as my guide, I now see 3 of the foods that were always on the bad list completely differently now. So I want to walk through each of them, why I've changed my mind about them, and what to look for so that you can enjoy them too. The first one being bread. I used to avoid bread like it was the devil himself, which is ironic considering I used to work at Panera Bread for my dad, who was the general manager of a Panera Bread for the majority of my life. But I was always told it was bad. Carbs are bad, which makes bread very bad. Now, knowing what I know, when I eat bread, I make sure that it fits the following criteria. Number 1, it is ideally sourdough, which is fermented and much easier for us to digest. Number 2, it's made with unbleached, chemical-free, whole grain flour. Number 3, ideally it is homemade or from a local bakery, definitely not from a factory. And number 4, it is made with only ingredients I recognize: flour, water, salt, maybe an herb if I'm feeling a little adventurous. Now, it's important to note that bread, and carbohydrates for that matter, are non-essential nutrients to live. Our body's first source of energy is typically carbs because they are easier and quicker to burn, but we can actually live without them. Jesus himself says, "People do not live by bread alone, but by every word that comes from the mouth of God," which is in reference to Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 3. Of course, that passage is to teach us that we will never fully be satisfied without feeding our spirit with God the Father, but I do think it's literal as well. Bread and most grains are not tremendously nutrient dense. Their strength is really in their dietary fiber, which is fantastic and necessary for digestion, but a lot of other foods can also provide fiber along with a wide variety of vitamins and minerals. All that's to say, while bread may not be the food to turn to for maximum nutrients, it most certainly is not detrimental to your health when made with God-given ingredients. All that you need to make bread is flour, water, and salt. And if you want it fluffy, then you need some sort of rising agent, like yeast. But that's it. It's when we eat the bread with all of the enriched flours and preservatives to keep it shelf stable that we start seeing bread become detrimental to our health. Unfortunately, it is pretty hard to come by 3-ingredient bread without making it yourself. Maybe I'll do a podcast episode on how to make a loaf of sourdough sometime. But if you're not already in that world, I bet there is someone you know or a friend of a friend who is in the sourdough world, and maybe you can buy loaves from them. Or, of course, check out local bakeries. All right, the second food that I used to think was bad, and now I've totally changed my mind on, is fruit. As an adult trying to be healthy and lose excess weight, we are often told that anything with sugar needs to be avoided at all costs. Now my perspective is when I eat fruit, I make sure that it fits the following criteria. Number 1, it is locally grown and seasonal, which typically go hand in hand. Number 2, I pair it with a protein and a fat. I try to never eat fruit on its own. And number 3, it doesn't outweigh the amount of protein and vegetables that I have in a meal. It honestly hurts my heart when I have a client who is apprehensive about including fruit into their diet. And I get it. I've been there too. We're told that it has too much sugar and it should be avoided. So yes, too much sugar is detrimental to our health and can lead to a cascade of issues. But biblically speaking, God told both Adam and Noah to be fruitful and multiply. The scriptures also say when we are living righteously and with the Holy Spirit, we are filled with the fruits of the Spirit. And Jesus uses fruit in parables and stories with positive connotations. I just refuse to believe that God would make something and literally tell us it's for our food, like in Genesis chapter 1, verse 29, when he says, I have given you every seed-bearing plant throughout the earth and all the fruit trees for your food. I refuse to believe he would do that and then make it harmful to our health. That's just not God's character. I think the key with fruit is to eat it the way God created it, which means whole, not juiced, with the skin, if edible, and not genetically modified to be sweeter, grow faster, or repel pests. I think it's meant to be eaten in conjunction with a protein or a fat, which will help keep blood sugar stable. The only time I really suggest keeping fruits to a minimum is if you are pre-diabetic or have type 2 diabetes and are working to reverse it. If your pancreas is unable to produce enough insulin to process glucose, then yes, too much fruit can absolutely be harmful. But that's the result of earthly food products, not God's creation. So eat your fruit. I give you permission. In fact, I usually make it my dessert for day-to-day sweet fixes. And the third food that I used to think was bad, but now I eat freely, is fatty meat. When I followed diet plans, most of the meals called for chicken breast, turkey, whitefish like tilapia. I eventually felt drained, I had brain fog, and I craved sweets more than ever. Now, when I eat fattier cuts of meat, I make sure it fits the following criteria. Number 1, it is 100% grass-fed, grass-finished if it is beef. Number 2, It is wild and sustainably caught if it is fish. And number 3, I alternate with leaner meats, either bi-weekly or in different meals throughout the day. For example, if I have ribeye for breakfast, I'm probably going to have chicken for dinner. The stigma around fatty meat stems from the cholesterol misinformation, or scam, as some people like to call it, that deemed saturated fat as the cause of cardiovascular disease and should be avoided. You can look into what we now know about cholesterol and its relation to dietary fat on your own. I suggest checking out the book Eat the Yolks, like egg yolks, for a solid explanation of that history. But from a biblical perspective, fat from animals is often associated with feasting or celebration. Take a look at the story of the prodigal son in Luke chapter 15, for example. When the lost son returned home, his father said to the cooks, "Prepare the calf we have been fattening. We must celebrate with a feast." Conversely, fat is also mentioned with the wealthy and gluttons. So the combination of those two things tells me that fat from animals does not need to be avoided, but also should not be the choice for every meal of every day. It's a delicacy reserved for less common occasions. Using the entire animal is a symbol of respect for God's creation. And now we know that the fat of animals can be exceptionally beneficial for brain and cellular health. Our brains are mostly fat matter. Now, our methods of fattening animals has evolved quite a bit over the last 2,000 years. What we consider fat is probably unthinkably obese in comparison to the fattened animals of biblical times. So that is another thing to consider. But overall, I don't believe the natural fat of an animal is harmful to our health. And in most cases, if raised the way the Lord intended, that fat is actually gold. Ultimately, if it once walked, flew, swam, or grew, it's real and not to be avoided. When I learned to see food as real or fake, the battle of questioning, is this healthy? Plus always saying no to all of my favorite things like bread, it just vanished. And that is when food freedom set in. So if you're curious about how to include things like bread, fruit, and meat that is not chicken breast into your regular diet, join me in The Sustainable Way, my one-on-one nutrition coaching program that gives you all the tools to make eating healthy simple and sustainable so that you can have freedom with food and confidence that you're actually nourishing your body. You can learn more and even get started today by visiting coachrain.com/nutrition coaching. And I'll tell you what, I cannot wait to coach you. I pray this episode was helpful to you, my friend. If so, could you do me a massive favor and take 30 seconds to write a review? This is the best way to bless me big and help more people learn just how simple eating healthy consistently can be. And if you want more value-packed info from me, head to coachrain.com and sign up for the Weekly Harvest, my weekly emails filled with recipes, how to use food as medicine, biblical nutrition, and more. That's coachreign.com for the Weekly Harvest. Blessings until next time, sis. Toodles.